guys, so welcome to Scottsdale, Arizona, and welcome to the all-new BMW M2. Today is the day when I'm going to have a chance to actually drive the car, but before that I wanted to give you a quick look at the BMW M2 in Brooklyn Gray. So this is one of the 5 colors offered for the BMW M2. You also have Toronto Red, Alpine White, Zandvoort Blue, of course Black Sapphire, and Brooklyn Gray. So before we talk about the design, let me share quickly some of the specs. Of course, the S58 3.0 liter 6-cylinder engine, about 450 horsepower, so nothing new there. Of course, a lot of the parts on the M2 are coming from the M3 and M4, and I'm going to be talking about that in my video review of the car. This one, it's a 6-speed manual, so 2 options, 6-speed manual, or you have the option of an 8-speed automatic, and I'm probably gonna have the chance to drive both of them back to back and share some impressions on that. But before we do that, let's take a look at the design, because it has been a little bit controversial, maybe not as controversial as the new M3 and M4, nonetheless, compared to the F87 generation, a little bit more controversial online and in social media. But before I walk around and give you a full look of the car, let me point out some of the things that I've learned from the designer of the BMW M2, Jose Casas. So let's start with the air breathers. If you take a look right here, you're going to see inside that you have exactly the same shape of the cooling radiator in the back. So this is one example where form follows function. So the idea of this breather being of this shape was really a functional one. And also inside there are some tunnels that lead the air in a more efficient way. So once again, functionality over form in this case. And once again, this has to do with aerodynamics. Once again, a function over form kind of thing as well. You can also see the large cooling in the back right there. Another interesting thing on the new BMW M2 has to do with the headlamps. So if you take a look at this, apparently the M2 has a different glass than the M240i, for example. And apparently it enhances the LED lights. So I'll probably have to see the cars side by side in order to determine the differences when it comes to the glass. Now let's move to the side and talk about the side gills. This was one thing that a lot of people complain about, why there is no side M gill right here. We're used to seeing that on all the M cars, or most of them. And once again, I was told that because the car has a very aerodynamic look from the side, kind of racing inspired, they wanted to improve the aero coefficient and all of that. And if they would have added a non-functional side gill, there would be no value added. So basically, there was no need to actually have a functional side gill, because the aerodynamics of the car, apparently they're really good. And this is why you have all these shapes, and you can see them from the side as well. The designer of the car, Jose, told me also in Munich a while back that the project really started with the M2 being a racetrack car. So the design kind of followed that philosophy. That's why you have these simpler shapes on the side, not too many creases. And then of course you have this rocker panel, which kind of sticks out quite a bit, and you can see it from this angle for sure. And of course you can see the fenders, how much they actually stick out compared to, let's say, the regular M240i. So those are some of the things on the BMW M2. They're quite interesting. Of course, if you want to see the full design review, we put out a video a few months back. You can always take a look at that. Jose went into a lot more details when it comes to the overall design of the BMW M2. But now let's just kind of walk around and let me show the car. Of course, you have the 50 years of M badge right there. Single headlamps. You can see a lot of square shapes on the car. So it doesn't have the rounded shapes of the BMW F87 M2. 275, 35, 19-inch wheels in the front, red calipers, of course, M Sport brakes. You can also see the fenders, how much they actually stick out. Even though the car looks like it could be lowered a little bit, there are about almost 4 fingers in there, so maybe about 2-3 inches of space, so you can definitely lower this car a little bit more to give it an even better stance. If you want to do that from the factory, you can always go for the BMW M Performance parts, which come with a lowering suspension as well. Flush door handles, of course, another aerodynamic feature, something that we've seen in other BMWs as well. You can see once again this rocker panel right here. It really sticks out, I would say at least 2 inches. It's even more impressive in real life. Carbon fiber roof, of course, not only helps with downforce, but it's also lightweight. So let's take a look at the back. Once again, you can see the overall shape of the car. It's quite wide. I'm assuming that once we see it on the road tomorrow, I'll be impressed even more because I'll be right behind all different type of colors. We're going to talk about colors actually in the next video, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. Simple M2 badge in the back. Once again, the 50 years of M badge as well. Quad pipes, quite massive, similar to the M3 and M4. High gloss black plastic diffuser. Another functional piece are actually these vertical reflectors. Once again, the designer told me, I remember a while back, that this was also a function over form choice, and it has to do with aerodynamics once again. From what I understand, a lot of the aerodynamic properties of a car can be improved mostly in the back, and that's why the designers usually spend a lot of time making sure that the rear end is quite aerodynamic. So if you're complaining about this piece, apparently this was a functional piece, not necessarily a styling one. Of course, you see this L shape pointing downwards taillights. If you look at the first sketches of the car, they were actually pointing upwards, but that was a change that was made for the production series car. I've said it before, I kind of wish they kept that L shape in its normal position. I think it would have looked even better from the back. A very subtle spoiler right there, no surprise, something that you see usually on the base M cars. Now let's take a look inside. I removed the seats so you can see the carbon bucket seats from the back, so you can see the exposed carbon fiber. You have that red for this really nice pull with the M colors. So let me put this back. M steering wheel, once again M2 and M1 buttons right there. Carbon bucket seats. You can see they're a little bit different than on the M3 and M4. Love the colors on the seat for sure. And of course, the highlight of the entire car, 6-speed manual. Of course, same transmission from the M3 and M4, no surprise there as well. More carbon fiber inside on the dashboard, and iDrive 8 and curved display, so of course you are losing some of the physical buttons and switches. No surprise by now, you've seen it in plenty of other BMWs. Not much legroom in there. We're going to talk about that as I drive the car, but as you can see, there is not a lot of room there, so ideally a car for two, but if you want to go for shorter trips, you can probably fit a couple more people in there. M graphics. I'm going to show this also tomorrow. You can see the M graphics, but they're specific to M cars. More carbon fiber inserts there. And of course you have this M stitching right there. Just like the M240i, you have the M colors right there. So once again, this is the BMW M2, Brooklyn Gray. Stay tuned. We'll have a lot more videos coming up with the M2. As always, please make sure to subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one.